All right, we're back for round 10's review for Supercoach 2024. 24-40, 24-55 the score. Top 2% could have been better. Getting that out of the way. 275 for rank is still not bad. Top 300, there's 178,000 teams. So, like, being in the top 300 is still a good result. I mean, yeah, I'm still ranked in the top 1%. Pardon me. Um, yeah, this week, if it wasn't for, a couple of outs and stuff like that, I feel like this week's score is bad because of last week's score being so bad. If I made certain trades last week, this week would have been a lot better. But we'll go into it. So I didn't end up bringing in Zorko, and that was because Sweet didn't get named. I thought Sweet was just going to get named. I thought that was an easy one. Didn't end up happening. Vicenteni played, so I just made the swap from Sweet to Vicenteni, who's just going to be my perma third ruck, right? Like, he's not. I don't think he'll get named this week. If he does, it'll be because Charlie Dixon's not playing, which means one of them will be like more forward of the ball. Score won't be great. He's just going to live on the bench. And he's saying, well, why don't you do that with Naismith? Naismith was locked out. Um, yeah, couldn't. Didn't make the money work. But we'll go into it. So Ryan was the captain. Of course, this is the week that the Saints decide they want to learn how to defend a backline. So yeah, not the 150 everyone was looking for, but 122 got the job done. Dacos went with him for the vice. It was kind of a last minute change. I can't remember who I had it on. It might have been Bont. Yeah, I mean, Dacos had 40. It was either 40 touches, 41 touches, something like that, but just couldn't be efficient with it at all. Go here and then go here. Yeah, 41 touches, 5 tackles. I mean, this should have been a 150 game, but yeah, not efficient. And champion data, if you're not efficient in the first quarter, then you're not going to. I mean, for most of the game, he wasn't even at 100. He had like 38 touches for 95. Like, that was insane. I understand efficiency, but at some point, like, the stats do have to kind of take over a bit. Houston was good. Didn't really watch any of that game. Off the top of my head, I don't even know who Port played on the weekend. Hawks. Yeah, that's right. I did see actually a bit of that game. I just completely forgot about it. Yeah, Port were good. They were down for a large portion of the game that they didn't look good, but then Hawks kind of fell off. Houston was saved. He had, I think, 3 goals. 3 goals plus scaling because they came back to win. Yeah, so, but 10 tackles, 22 touches. Maybe it's not 148, maybe it's more 120, but we'll take it. Nick Martin kind of got moved around a little bit, which was the one thing I was hoping would not happen. But yeah, the back line is so weird this year that he's still going to be a top 6, even playing out of position. So somehow McGovern is holding up. I don't really want McGovern, but he might be the Sheasel out. Yeah, I don't know. The backline is really screwed. Like, there's just not many good players. Yo's coming off injury, and it's an injury that he's re-aggravated, so it's possible he does it again. Jordan Clark don't really believe in. Whitfield injury prone. I mean, there's just not a lot of guys there. Maybe a second half of the season, Blakey or Hayden Young, one of them two. Sheasel, speaking of him, he played fine. It was probably his best game in the midfield. Still, I don't get it. I would play him off halfback. I would. They're losing anyway, right? And the quote of, win or lose, I'm just trying to, like, up the craft and stuff like that. That's what an off season's for. right? Like that is why you have a 6 month off season. What is it? It's like September to March. That's a long off season. If you're North, it's August to March. Um, yeah, I don't know. I would play him at off half back. If you're losing by 50 either way, play him in a position where like he's at least given you a creative option, right? Like you can move the ball. Don't really like this midfield stuff. Plus, it moving him into the midfield where North has a list of like all midfielders, right? Like their forwards are also midfielders. Their VFL team is midfield FC. Like it's, I don't know. I wouldn't play him there. It would either be half back or half forward for me, and I would not put Sheasel half forward because he will not touch the ball. There is no one that would get it to him consistently. Wanganeen Malera played good. Again, benefactor of just, Frio aren't that good. But every week I feel like saying Naz could go 130, but team doesn't find him, and when they do find him, it's the most awkward kick it's like you can't do anything with it. Like you either place him in a weird spot. Like he had 30 touches this game. That's even then I feel like he could have had like 35. Efficiency was whatever, but he's getting put into positions where you can't be efficient, right? He's got three guys down, like all around him. He has to just bomb it out, and then that's how you get those ineffective kicks. Is what it is. He's up to 101. That's not bad. Considering everyone else, it's probably not too bad. Closey, probably looking at his second last week in the team. 31 break even. Was the 105 last week or the week before? 105 was last week, so he has one more week of it. Hopefully he gets a big score against either Carlton or Essendon. When is his bye? 14. So it might be a trade during his bye week. Yeah, something like that. Because 14 you'll have 12 and 13 guys, so you'll have Whitfield available if you wanted to go him. Again, I mean he's just a bit too injury prone for me. I feel like I cut myself here. Midfield was fine. Sarong has been great all year. 118 is not obviously the best score, but the Saints have actually been a good midfield defending team. It's really like the only good thing the Saints have done this year in terms of changing their game plan. They're not really giving up a lot to midfields. It's really like creative halfbacks are killing them, and forwards, right? Like last year, I thought the Saints' defense was actually all right. This year, it's not really holding up as well as it should. There's a couple of reasons for that, a couple of injuries, stuff like that. But yeah, so Sarong's been good. 677 with a break even of 139 against Collingwood. Collingwood don't tag. Collingwood give up big scores. He could get a 150 this week. Butters was good. I mean, it's hard to say anyone was good from Port because they were down to Hawks for a fair portion of this game. So, yeah, I mean, he's still like a top 3 midfielder or something like that. So, 132, North coming up. GWS isn't great. When is his bye? He's 13. But everyone has him, right? Does it show me ownership, or did they remove that as well? Surely it still has ownership. 32%. I mean, if you don't have him, I guess you bring him in off his buy, but you're paying like 650k for him. Probably not the option, actually. Like, go for a cheaper guy. Bont 93 expected way better, but the game wasn't really ever close. But I don't know, this rivalry between GWS and Dogs, Bont either coasts through it because the team it's just not a competitive game, or he puts up a 170 because it's a physical game with heaps of stoppages. It's like a very physical game, which is where Bont kind of like is at his best. Just didn't happen this week. Merritt copped a bit of attention from Shields, yeah, Shield is the Essendon guy, right? Um, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Brought him in for this stretch of games, and he just hasn't really done much in this stretch. So, like, West Coast, North, Richmond this week, which he's gone 160, 150 against in his last two. That's crazy. Gold Coast isn't a terrible team, but they suck up so many points through their midfield. Carlton's not bad either. Then West Coast again. Yeah, his run's still fine, right? Like, if you're looking for someone on that, like, 600k range, you could go with Merritt. Honestly, he's probably an option for captaincy this week. Took Miller, again, like, the Gold Coast midfield takes so many points that even they can't get a lot of them. I thought they absolutely dominated the Cats. It was 64 points, and it felt like 100. The Cats weren't competitive at all. You can blame the weather, but you don't get Gold Coast complaining about the weather at GMHBA where it's always raining. Yeah, as someone who's going to Geelong this weekend, I know it's going to be cold and raining. You prepare for that. Like, why didn't the players heat themselves up through training and stuff like that? I don't know. Bad preparation. You can't blame the ground. Just a poor performance from a, I don't know, mediocre to overachieving team. Sam Walsh, 85. I thought he did the best he could, right? Like, he was copping a hard tag from James Jordan. I saw a meme after the game. It was like James Jordan following Walsh home. Yeah, I mean, it was a really good tag performance from him. Surprised. I mean, I'm not really surprised they didn't go to Cripps, but I'm surprised they didn't let go of the tag. Because Cripps was kind of playing good towards the end of the third and the fourth. I mean, I don't know, that can't really great either. But yeah, I mean, yeah, fought through a tag, got an 85, better than like a 50, which it could have been. Yeah. Round 128, again, it was a complete domination from Gold Coast, who was actually the top scorer from that game. So if I go here, press that. I'm guessing it was Anderson. Yeah, it was Anderson. Lukosius, what did he have? Did he have a couple of goals? Something? Yeah, I thought so. Flanders did good. Sexton's weird. I don't know if I'd bring him in. Where was he playing? I have to check the heat map on him. So I can't. I mean, what was this, Thursday last week? Yeah, I can't remember much of this game. This has been recorded late in like the next week, so. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It just couldn't get up there and score. So where were we? And then Wilson probably topped out in his scoring, so you could trade him this week. He's got a 76 break even, 416k. He's made 300k on his starting price. Someone you could trade out, someone you could hold. If he puts up like another 90, it does sort of reset the cash gen. It won't be like crazy or anything, but West Coast is in there. Melbourne hasn't been like the best for defending Supercoach points, but you know what I mean. They're pretty easy to score against. What did they actually have him ranked? 14th? Yeah, thought so. Yeah, I mean, you could hold him. You could. I think I'm going to trade him, but you definitely could hold him. Powell benched him because wasn't sure about the matchup. Then there was a couple of late outs and stuff, and I was just at work, so I couldn't really change the team. Is what it is, though. Lost 90 points. It's rare he ever scores 90 points. Feels like the last couple of weeks he's been struggling to get 70. We'll take it. I mean, what's his break even now? 59. Hopefully he goes up a little bit. Hits. I mean, Wilson's overtaken him, so that we can't have that happening. I think I can put him back in there. Sullivan was fine. He was the trade-in for 102k or 123k. What was his price? Yeah, 102k. Good player. Did the job. And McAuliffe, McAuliffe. There is another way to say it. I say McAuliffe, but I think there is another way to say it, and that's the right way. Um, he got a game. We'll see if he keeps getting games, but even if he's just on the bench making a little bit of cash in the buys, he's someone that I can use that third trade, get him out, bring in a rookie, something around that line. Or if he's just another player that's playing, it's closer to 18, yeah, whatever the case may be. As I said before, I did trade in Vice and Tenny. 94, kind of got rewarded for that. Didn't feel like a 94 game from him. And then Gorn was honestly pretty subpar against the Eagles, the mighty Eagles, by the way, that side. Yeah, I mean, expected a 130 from him. Didn't get it. The forwards were mixed bag. I mean, the big ones went big, and then the other ones kind of stayed where they were. Heaney 121. I mean, he could have been heaps higher, but the game was a blowout, so of course he kind of coasted, and he looked like he was cramping up in the fourth, so I'm surprised they didn't pull him. He could miss a game. Like, it depends on if he's actually after the Brownlow or not. I mean, the bye's coming up. If he plays this week, he gets next week off. Who they got off at their bye? So they're 12. Who's they got in 13? Geelong at the SCG. You could rest him against Geelong, give him a 2-week bye. You got to rest him against the Dogs. Luke Parker getting suspended makes me think they can't rest him now. If Luke Parker didn't get suspended, I'd say it would almost be surefire that he's going to get rested. And they'll just bring Parker in for a game. Mills has to come back as well at some point, so I have to check the timeline on him because that will probably line up as a rest game as well. Flanders, it was good. Reid was amazing. Praise Harley Reid. The savior of the interstate teams, honestly. Yeah. I genuinely can't remember a more fun player I've watched in a long, long time. Maybe since Gary Ablett Jr. or something like that. Like, I'm talking like a long time. Ben Cousins, something like that. But he's so good. He's just so good. He's elite at everything. He's so good. And honestly, this could be just the bias kicking in. I think he's better than Dacos was in his first year because Dacos played a super, super uncontested role where it was kind of just play free. Reid is actually contested ball, laying tackles, fend offs, and everything like that, kicking goals. I think he's a better prospect than Dacos is. Will he hit the height of Nick Dacos? I think Nick Dacos is he's in the top 3 best players in the league right now. He could even maybe I'd say top 2. Probably, yeah, maybe top 2 for Dacos. Reid could get up there, but I don't know if he ever will with this current West Coast makeup. I think they have to improve the team a little bit. Powell, yeah, spoke about that. Darcy was good. Didn't expect a big score, but ended up getting an 80, so that's all right. And then 5, kind of still low, but he'll be fine, right? Everyone's still got him, it's fine. And then Dempsey had a reasonable score, kind of lowers the break even a bit. It will work. And then Jones, I think, has a hammy injury, so he's just going to be my loop in the forward line, which actually works pretty well. So now I have a loop on each line, which I kind of needed earlier in the year, but I have it now, so it's fine. Okay, so for trades, no more bullshit with the rucks, right? I'm getting a real ruck in. Go with him. I mean, I could get to English. When is Saints by? Is it 13? No, 14. It's probably 14, right? No, 15. Let me see if that's bad. Do that, and then who else am I trading? Thinking it's Wilson. It's either Wilson or Fife, and I think I'm. How break even's looking. 76-84 against Collingwood versus Melbourne. I think it's Wilson. Yep, go 3-round. Marshall's really the best 3-round average. Interesting. I thought it would be Zorko. So number 1 is going to be Richards from... No, actually, you know what? For this, I might go Fraser because I think he's going to hold his spot longer. Actually, in saying that, De Goey's not playing this week, so I'll go Richards. Who am I going to move down? Guess I'll just go Powell again. That, and then gives me 700k for Ruckman. That's crazy. So, who is the best at the moment? Gawn, who I have. Marshall. Grundy, who I traded, which... whatever. English. What's English's buy looking like? I don't have all the buys memorized. Wrong one. That one. It is 15 as well. Okay. Which means I can go for either because no matter what, everyone's going to have their buy that week. Marshall, I think. Play the form. He's got Gawn this week. The other one has Grundy though, so we'll play next week. West Coast, don't mind that. Gold Coast, not a fan. Versus, who does he have next week? He has Collingwood. It's a weird one, very, very weird one. I'm going to go with Marshall, just play the current form. And probably do that. I can loop that, can't I? Yep. There's no way Jones plays this week. Yeah, can go with that. Easy. So, vice captain and captain. Don't mind Dacos as VC again. And Butters. No, Merritt. Could go Butters into Merritt. Yeah, might do that. All right, and that's about it for this week. Tried to make it a bit faster because I'm not feeling the best. Yeah, I'll see you all next time.